And to discuss the Trump administration's tariff diplomacy and its results so far, we have with us Professor Swaran Singh from the School of International Studies, JNU. Thank you very much, Professor Singh. Now, surely the Colombians, they have coffee and plenty of it. That coffee should have provided Colombia with more leverage, one would think.
Indeed, Mark, that's true. Nearly 27 to 30% of total imports of coffee in United States comes from Colombia. And then, of course, there are a whole lot of other exports that Colombia also is known for, including crude oil to United States. So surely this kind of anxiety on both sides and commentaries from the very top of their leadership is going to have disruptive impact on bilateral relations, even though Colombia is viewed as a strong, close partner of United States, except that the current leadership has issues with Donald Trump. So it's a fundamentally disruptive way of conducting foreign policy, which has continued, continued to be an issue of concern with most of both friends and competitors of United States. It's not for the first time that United States is deporting people. Indeed, starting from Bill Clinton's time, nearly a million people were deported during his time. Then, of course, 9/11 came, and George Bush tenure saw double of 2 million people being deported, followed by Obama deporting about 3.2 billion people. So it's a million people, 3.2 million people. So it's not that United States was not deporting people, but this whole chaos, the way it is being handled, the way it is being weaponized, shall we say, I think that is completely different, and that's to the minimum, it's going to be disruptive in bilateral relations or in foreign policy of United States.
Indeed, I mean, it's playing out in the public because Gustavo Petro, who's the president of Colombia, even offered his own presidential plane to bring them back. But how serious do you see the problem of illegal immigration? How is it going to get? Because the approach may cater to the Trump voter base currently, but people moving for better opportunities is a natural course of human existence. It's going to continue. And naturally, they would be seeking, I mean, after all, there's a land route. They'd be seeking that to reach the United States.
Indeed, the whole rigor of border security, passports and visas is nothing but about 80 to 100 years old in effect. Now it started in the First World War onwards. So people have been traveling around the world. In fact, we often say that the US success story or the American dream is based on hard work of immigrants. And in that sense, they have been the force behind the success story of United States. And they go around the world, they go to other countries also. And I think the basic expectation from United States leadership would be to have at least some dignity attached to some of these harsh actions that are being undertaken. You can't ad nauseum and blanket together and describe the whole community, whole nationality as criminals or gangsters and things like that. And that kind of abrasive language and sending unannounced military flights with people on board being described as criminals is not going to be acceptable to any country. In fact, even within United States, Mark, you must have seen Chicago mayor said he's not even involved in what federal agencies are doing in various cities, arresting nearly 1,500 people during the Sunday yesterday only. So, both internally, the discomfort is becoming visible. And of course, externally, no nation will accept that entire citizens of that nation could be branded as criminals. And that's not going to be acceptable to any country.
True. You did mention about how US is built on the work of immigrants. But, the argument they're being made now is about illegal immigrants. And they too provide crucial labor, it seems, that keeps the costs down. Is inflation going to be a problem going forward? Because first of all, you have higher tariffs on incoming goods. Now you're going to have higher wages within the United States for labor that's available there.
That is true that internally United States is not just going to benefit from this kind of abrasive actions. As you mentioned, tariffs going up means consumer items are going to be much more expensive for Americans. Second, the cheap labor. In fact, many of the states in the United States have industrial legislations putting it in black and white that no one should be threatened of deportation in terms of, being the workers in either agriculture or industrial sector. So, I understand the focus is on illegal immigrants, but even illegal immigrants have made some contributions. They have ensured cheap labor, to say the least.
Right.
Of course, no nation is supportive of illegal movements. Mobility must be legal, but it also casts aspersions on your own agencies. In that sense, how could so many illegal people could walk into United States? That
Right.
means there is also need to look at whether your own agency's apparatus has been effective or ineffective. So blame lies on both sides, not just on immigrants who are coming in to look for opportunities for a better life, but also your
True.
own agencies. And therefore, if you want to deport them, it at least ensure there is basic human dignity, human rights are maintained, and not that entire country and everyone coming from that country is called names
True.
which are
Absolutely.
going to be.
So finally, Professor Singh, how do you see this playing out? Because all Trump appointees currently are eager to fulfill their tasks, and we can see that the borders are is working hard. Many of the others also, but Trump is acting through executive orders right now. So, do you see any checks coming in, let's say from the legislature or the judiciary going forward?
See, already some of the very important executive orders, for example, or executive order on citizenship by birth, has already come into question in courts. So I think many of these things will be, including deportations, are going to be questioned in courts. People are going to go there because it's not a black and white that people are either illegal or legal. There's a whole spectrum of people who they think they are legally in United States, but in the assessment of various agencies, their papers may not be effective enough or whatever, may not be dated and so on. For example, the media is today saying that the Indian couple was deported back from United States because they did not have the return ticket, which they did not know was required. So some of these people who are innocent, they are genuinely going there. They think they are legal, but they may be described as illegal now. So all those things, I think, are going to go to courts, and of course, legislature as well. We are noticing, Hegseth was confirmed by Senate when three Republican senators themselves voted against him. So
Right.
in that, opposition is going to come also within Republicans. We are noticing that happening repeatedly. So, in terms of checks and balances, both judiciary and legislatures, I think will step in soon. And increasingly, American citizens, I think, themselves will become aware that such disruptions are only going to create more difficulties for them as well. It's not going to be making America great again simply by such abrasive actions. It's going to also have costs attached to United States as well.
Okay, we leave it there. Thank you very much, Professor Swaran Singh from the School of International Studies, JNU. Thank you for your insights.